Prima Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Africa Pipe Industries expects its new pipe plant to record turnover of between 300 and 400 million rand in its first year of operation. Irma Venter visited the company's Sasolburg facility.
API's 70 million rand mill may be brand new to the pipe industry, but company boss Johannesburg is not. His 28 years experience has seen him work for Group 5 Pipe and Hall Longmore, with the last 10 years spent in Nigeria running a pipe plant for an Israeli company. Now he is back in South Africa taking on the competition in the local market.
We started the planning phase of the factory in 2010, in the beginning of 2010. We did some commissioning towards the end of September last year, and the first project was started in January this year. We produce in diameters of from 20-inch right up to 220-inch diameter pipe. We've also been awarded the API monogram, which says that this factory can produce oil and gas pipe for the whole industry. So we cater for the whole industry, from water, piling, oil, gas. You know, we can produce any quality pipe. The major clients is the boards. I mean, like Rand Water. We got a very big contract in Port Elizabeth for Mandela Metro, and Water Affairs, the Coca-Cola Crocodile River project.
Johannesburg says API's decision to invest in the plant was driven by a shortage of capacity in the local steel pipe manufacturing industry as water demand continues to pick up.
The government is committed themselves to the water for all projects in the country. They've put aside projects, something like 5 billion South African rands is estimated for water distribution networks in South Africa. A lot of that also with electricity problems and the new power stations, cooling waters to the power stations. So the infrastructures are in a growing market, and there's very, very large projects planned for the next 5 years.
To cater for this growing demand, API is planning a second pipe mill which will also produce 20-inch to 120-inch diameter steel pipe, and which will also have 100,000 tons a year capacity. A third mill is to produce 8-inch to 20-inch steel pipes.
Coca-Cola aims to decrease its environmental impact at its new Velpre bottling plant in Heidelberg. Christy van der Merwe compiled this report. Consumers and companies are becoming more and more aware of the impact that everyday products have on the environment during production. One of the companies aiming at lessening the impact is Coca-Cola, in particular through innovations at the company's new Velpre spring water bottling plant in Heidelberg, east of Johannesburg. First off, Velpre has introduced what it calls plant bottle packaging, made from up to 30% plant materials, thus fewer harmful petrochemicals and 100% recyclable. South Africa is the 10th market in the world to launch plant bottle and the first in Africa.
We produce 2.5 billion plant bottles worldwide. The result is that we reduce the carbon emission by 30,000 metric tons.
Furthermore, the Heidelberg bottling facility is striving for LEED, or Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design certification, which is awarded to buildings implementing a number of green building principles. The administration building has already been awarded LEED Gold certification. The location of the plant was chosen to get closer to the market, decreasing transport costs and associated emissions. The construction of the facility incorporated recycled materials, thus reducing the carbon footprint of materials used. The orientation of the building and window placement means that the use of natural light is optimized and almost no artificial lighting is required. A 30-kilowatt solar installation by LAP Group, Southern Africa's renewable energy division, provides a portion of electricity for the facility, which also makes use of solar water heating. Rainwater harvesting takes place, and the company also has a water balance initiative in place. 100% of the effluents is treated, and the plant has ambitious zero to landfill targets. These are some of the ways that Coca-Cola says it is bringing consumer-driven, environmentally responsible developments to the marketplace. Other news making headlines this week. Transnet moves ahead with its 12 billion rand Swazi study as coal line tempos pick up, and Gautrain operations and construction are faring well. Transnet CEO Brian Molefe confirms that the feasibility study into a new 12.3 billion rand freight line through Swaziland is advancing, and that a government-to-government deal to facilitate the project could be signed before year-end, and that construction could start in 2012.
The detailed engineering studies need to be done, but you will remember that the terrain between Lothe and Swaziland and Matsapa and around the Swazi border is actually very mountainous. So as a straight line, it's not a very long distance, but then they will have to find the flattest area that has some kind of gradient going down that is optimal, and that will determine the distance. So even though by straight line it could be 60 kilometers or 70 kilometers, it could be quite long by the time they finish building the railway because of the nature of the terrain. They are completing the detailed study of exactly what is required and how much it will cost.
It is difficult to establish if the newly opened Gautrain route between Hatfield Station in Pretoria and Rosebank Station in Johannesburg is alleviating traffic congestion in these cities, but feedback has been positive, reports the Gautrain Management Agency.
Look, at the moment we're carrying about 32,000 passengers a day, and we're getting a minimum of people coming over from existing public transport. So these are, in all probability, motorists. So they off the roads they have to be off the roads. Whether they're part of a lift club and they're now not going in the lift club, so it's very difficult. Another thing is that you can't really test what is happening on the freeways because of the construction work. They're doing quite major construction work still. They've closed one lane of Benchcomen all the way from Bloemfontein up to Buccleuch. Then once that's finished, we still can't really say, because we have the Rosebank Park link that hasn't been completed, and we are of the opinion that people that want to go from Pretoria Station, Hatfield Station, Centurion Station to Park, very few of them would have changed their habits, to say, let's go up to Rosebank, then try and get a bus into the CBD, go from the CBD up to my destination. So we'll see in December when that link is open, and then finally when the toll tariffs actually kick in February next year, we will then see. So there's really a few steps that have to be taken to see what our final ridership is going to be, and really to see whether we are impacting on the traffic or how big our impact is.
That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.